Keir Starmer has raised concerns about a potential economic recession as the Labour Party's budget appears to have failed in stimulating growth. Andrew Neil warned that Starmer's party is far from fulfilling its pledge for Britain to become the fastest-growing economy in the G7. Neil pointed out that instead of enhancing the gross domestic product (GDP), the Labour Party now faces the critical task of preventing a recession. This follows Threadneedle Street's announcement that policymakers expect zero GDP growth between October and December, down from the previously forecasted growth of 0.3%. He stated, "The Bank of England refuses to cut interest rates due to rising inflation, downgrading its growth outlook for the last 3 months of this year to zero. Government borrowing costs have surged to over 4.5%, significantly higher than what Germany and France pay, both of which are undergoing political challenges. LABOUR's main challenge now is to avoid recession instead of achieving rapid growth." The party expressed ambitions in its election manifesto for Britain to have the highest growth in the G7 over consecutive years. However, since taking power, it has faced criticism for proposals that pressure businesses, such as a planned increase in employer national insurance contributions, accelerated wage growth, and inflation at 0.6%, above the Bank of England's 2% target, have added to uncertainty. Policymakers at the bank indicated that the planned rise in national insurance and the national living wage could further impact future inflation, as businesses may respond to higher taxes by raising prices or laying off workers. Government borrowing costs have risen to 4.58%, compared to 4.47% a week prior. This is higher than France's 3.12% and Germany's 2.3%, following the collapse of former French Prime Minister Michel Barnier's government and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's struggles with his coalition. And Starmer has already backtracked on Labour's pledge to secure the fastest growth in the G7, focusing instead on a plan for change that aims to enhance living standards for British citizens. The shift suggests the party recognizes the difficulty of achieving faster growth than other G7 nations, such as the United States, which recorded a growth rate of 3.1% from July to September, while the UK saw only 0.1% growth during that same period. As discussions of economic stagnation increase, with sluggish demand and a weakening job market, interest rates remain at 4.75%, despite troubling economic indicators. Starmer defended his record during the first 5 months of his term, stating, "We've had a decade of stagnant or low growth, and we've got to turn that round." He emphasized that the budget aimed to stabilize the economy and create conditions for investment, highlighting the need for reforms in planning and regulation to drive necessary growth.